Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brian Henley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being in here. Doing this one live today, so I appreciate you guys being in here. Got a good show. Talking some things. Obviously, we're going to go over hoops action last night in the Big 12, a couple of blowouts. Going to go over, the college football playoff tonight. Big game tonight. I know it doesn't involve Big 12, but it's still football, people. It's still college football. We got to talk about that. And then talking about hoops or professionals in college basketball. Like, what in the heck is going on? Like, it is wild. I'm not sure what the scenario is, what the situation is. But the NCAA at some point has to do something, Fitz. Yeah. They got to do something. So before we get started, remember, everybody, continue to follow, like, subscribe, continue to get in the comments, and always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. Fitz, how you doing today?
I'm good. A little hectic. Beautiful day in Manhattan. It's about 38 and pouring rain. Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. I'm looking forward to the ice. It's going to be great.
Ooh, yeah. It's not that cold here in Texas, but it is pouring rain. I mean, it's just outside. It looks like somebody's just pouring a constant bucket just down everywhere. I'm like, gee, many Christmas. Did we need this much rain? I guess, but it is what it is. Talking about the games last night, first, Arizona blows out Kansas State 106-76. Look, Arizona's just better than most basketball teams, but they're definitely better than Kansas State. It's kind of the same story, or the story that we talked about Kansas State. If you can't defend, you can't win. A team scores 101 points in regulation, you're not winning. And that's exactly what happened. And not to mention, Kansas State kind of got choked off as far as being able to score the basketball for good portions again in this one, Fits. But it was just a matchup of haves and have-nots. It's just basically what it was.
Well, that's the frustrating thing, I think, for K-State fans is they have some talent, just not enough rebounding and defense. They got absolutely destroyed on the backboards. Yeah. Arizona is so good. They're so well put together. Just a very impressive team. It's one of the better teams I've seen in a very long time. And I just saw BYU. I've seen a lot of great Kansas teams. That team's built to do some serious damage in the postseason. And I think at this point, we could just call off the rest of the season and ask for a Arizona-Michigan championship game and call it good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's going to be some teams in the Big 12 that have a little to say about that. But Arizona's very good. There is no question. Arizona is an outstanding basketball team. So as you guys are coming in, man, throw comments and questions up. We will bring you guys up. If you want to help support the channel, super chats are wide open. If you want to ensure that your comment and question gets up on the screen. So appreciate you guys being in here. Next up, Colorado, 2-0 in the conference, Fits. Got a win over Utah last night, which most people expected. Yeah. But, if anybody told you that Colorado was going to start the season 2-0, I mean, you look at their schedule and you're like, maybe. But they are. Here they are. And, to me, it's good. You like to see some new blood. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but they're 2-0. That's all you can do is win the games that are in front of you.
That's right. And you didn't get to pick what order these Big 12 games came in.
No.
Colorado got exactly what it needed from the schedule. Got an opportunity to win 2 games. Well, you always have the opportunity, but a viable opportunity to win games, and they took advantage of it. And that's just the way it is right now in this conference. Schedules are not going to be even, and they're certainly not even in a short period of time, like the start of the year. But you got to win what you can win. Yeah. And that's what's going to decide the team. Some team's going to sneak into the upper half of this conference because it beat most of the teams in the lower half. You just got to take care of business when you got business that can be taken care of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good game in Waco, Texas last night. Iowa State beat Baylor 70-60. Talon Limsey had a big second half, ended up with 24 points, I believe. Iowa State's really good. I thought Baylor played better, but again, it's just they were going against a team that's just better than they are. And when you run into that, even though it's tough to win on the road, and it always is, but sometimes talent to go along with ability, if you're just better, you're just better. And last night it was just Baylor just not as good as Iowa State. And because Iowa State's one of the best teams in the country, again, I still think is underrated. Not enough people are talking about them being that, but they are, Fitz. They just flat out are.
Yeah. Man, Iowa State's good. They just made that look casual, didn't they? We're going to go into Waco in their new arena, year-old, and just walk out with a double-digit victory. Man, this is going to be a very long, frustrating season for a lot of Big 12 fans whose teams aren't these teams.
Correct.
Because you're going to get your asses kicked.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't just good teams. This is ridiculous, Big B. This is ridiculous how good the Big 12 is this year. We say it every year, but you've got enough quality teams, and I feel confident in this. If you had BYU, Arizona, Houston, and Iowa State as a Final Four, it'd be incredible. And that's just one conference.
Right.
Iowa State is constantly proving that they have quietly become one of the best teams in the nation. Just kind of snuck in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. BYU blows out Arizona State. I don't think anybody thought that game was going to be any different. I mean, did you happen to see Bobby Hurley's press conference after the game? He's already quit, Fitz. He is literally already given up. I'm just like, come on, man. This guy. Now, don't get me wrong. BYU is way better than them. And also, there's a comment that I wanted to bring up. BYU's G Leaguer had 5 blocks in 17 minutes. Trust me, we're going to get to professionals playing college sports, but you're right. I mean, you got a professional out there playing, but Lord have mercy. It was ugly, ugly, ugly. And but BYU's so good. They are so good. Richie Saunders killed it. He had 31 and 8 last night. Just again, he's a guy that he gets overlooked about how good he is. And remember, he's a returning first team all-league player that everybody doesn't talk about. That's how good this guy is. And basically this team, BYU is really good.
Hey, you want to see my impression of Coach Hurley at a press conference?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't play very well. We went up against a good BYU team. That was it.
Just oh my God. I feel so bad for Sun Devil fans. I really
awful.
They don't deserve this. And maybe they just didn't have the money to get rid of them last year, which I understand. You're not wanting to pay somebody to leave and then you got to pay somebody else. I get all that, but my goodness, this guy, he's not even trying. Not even trying. But I don't want to take away from BYU's dominance because it was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? I just thought of something. In an odd way, the football transfer portal and NIL is helping mediocre college basketball coaches.
Yeah.
Because your athletic department can't afford to buy you out.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford to fire you because so much money's got to go to the football roster right now.
Correct.
It's insanity. And I think that's why we're seeing kind of a separation here is if you got a good one in this environment, you're in great shape because a good coach, because other teams are out there and the ADs are literally making the decision. Well, we need to suck again because I can't afford to buy this out because then it'll damage football, which damages the greater budget. It's
correct.
It's unbelievable what's going on right now.
Before we move on, speaking of coaches and maybe mediocre coaches and can't get bought out, I want to bring this one up from Bracket Cat. He said, Big B and Fitz, can you give me any reason to be positive about Tang's program at this point? I'll let you start, Fitz. I know you cover K-State, so I'll let you start.
No, I don't. Not a basketball reason. Unless this team's made no progress this far into the season defensively. I'd say no. Nominal progress. It's there, but not really. They don't rebound well. Again, another team that lacks some serious fundamentals. They just changed what fundamentals they are at Kansas State. I think your only reason to be positive is there's got to be someone out there who can invent a drinking game for K-State basketball. And then we can all be positive and enjoy these road games. Like every time they make a basket that gives them a double-digit lead, even if they already have a double-digit lead, you drink. And pretty much by the end of the night, you'll be absolutely tanked and not even know K-State lost. Positive.
I mean,
positive.
Here's what I would tell you, Bracket Cat, and I'm going to say this, and it can piss people off or not. If Jerome Tang and the Kansas State Wildcats lose on, I think they play Saturday to Arizona State. If Gene Taylor is serious, if they lose this game, he would say, Jerome, I'm sorry, you can't be the coach here anymore. If he's serious about basketball, that's what he would do. Because at that point, you're losing to a team whose coach doesn't even want to be there anymore, is not even interested in coaching anymore, and you can't beat them. Well, then what are we doing? And maybe that's what Kansas State is doing in basketball. Maybe they're just, we got them here. I think part of it is there's another comment down there saying we can't buy out Jerome Tang. He'll get another year because they can't afford to buy him out.
It's truth.
I mean, I think that's probably the truth. But that would be my thing is, like, if you can't beat Arizona State, whose coach isn't interested, then who are you going to beat? And I don't care that the game's on the road. You have better players. Apparently, or supposedly you have a better coach. If that's what's happening, I feel bad for Kansas State fans because they should be a better basketball team than this, Fitz. They should be better, and they're not. And it's really, really disappointing because of how it started with Tang. But you go back and you look, when you have two pros, and whether they're NBA guys or whatever, you have two pros on your basketball team. They were bought in. Two good basketball players and a bulldog of a point guard. That can take you a long way in the NCAA tournament, man. But then what did you do after that? You spent a year with not such a good roster. The next year, you brought in some mercenaries and never had a lead dog. And now you can't defend anybody. And it's troubling. It's troubling.
Very, very troubling.
So, let's move on, people. So college football playoff is tonight. The first of two games. One is tomorrow. Ole Miss taking on Miami. Miami's favored by 3 in this football game, Fitz. And I kind of like that. And here's my thinking. I'm taking Miami. And the reason being is at some point, Carson Beck is going to make a play or have to make a play. I shouldn't say he's going to. He's going to have to make a play because in the first 2 games, they won because of their defense. And the offense, they ran the football. Beck did a little bit. I think Ole Miss is going to score some points here, but I don't think Ole Miss has the defense to be able to slow down Miami if they get aggressive. Now, maybe the game plan is, hey, we're going to play ball control, play good defense, keep everything in front of us, and just do what Miami has done the first 2 games or pretty much all year defensively. But I think you're going to have to score some points, and I think maybe this is where Miami unleashes some stuff and Carson Beck makes a play. That's just my thinking.
I was out and about this morning before we started the show. I had 2 different people ask me, who do we root for? And you know, in the remaining college football playoff. And I said, Miami. I know that is distasteful. If you know the history of college football, you might not have been a Miami fan.
Right.
But anyone outside of the Big Ten and SEC winning blows up a narrative.
Yes, it does.
A big narrative. So if it couldn't be Tech doing the damage, I'll take a hurricane rolling through. Yeah. And also The downside of that is if Miami wins, we'll have back-to-back national champions that brought in a portal quarterback.
Yeah.
And if you think the price for quarterbacks is too high, $5 million for a dude to play, that look, Sorsby's a good quarterback, but really $5 million. But that's why is when you see Ohio State bring in a guy and he wins it, and now maybe Miami's going to do the same. Oh my gosh, someone's going to get 10 million. It's not going to stop at 5. It's going to escalate this even further.
Well, it's going to go by the way of, you notice in the NFL fits mediocre quarterbacks getting huge contracts, after the first year. They do okay and they're pretty good, but not great. But because it's their time to get paid, they get Tua Tagovailoa, or however you say his last name, Tua. You saw him with his contract. Perfect example. Kyler Murray's another one. Just average guys getting huge contracts. And you're right. The exact same thing is going to go on in college. They're going to pay these guys, and it's going to burn quite a few of them because they're going to say, well, hold on. Why are we paying somebody $6 million and we didn't make the playoff? Like, you know what? He threw 15 interceptions. Like, what is going on here? Why are we doing this? Well, that's where we get into it. Good question came up by Finally Tuned. Said, will the Big 12 ever be represented in the college football playoff Final Four in consecutive years? That's a great question. And if I had to answer your question right this very second, I would say it's going to be difficult for that to happen. Because I haven't seen it. That's the whole thing. I haven't seen it. So to sit here and lie because I love the Big 12 and, oh yeah, absolutely it's going to happen soon. I mean, I think it will happen. I just can't tell you when. That's my thing. I can't tell you when, because I told you when Texas Tech got the break speed off of them, we can't sit here and scream and pound our chests about we deserve more teams in, and we go and lay eggs like that. I'm sorry. We got to eat this until next year. And if you think that the committee's going to put in more than – I don't care if every team in the Big 12 goes undefeated next year. Now, clearly that can't happen. I don't care if that did happen. One team from the Big 12 is getting in, and that's it. They're not going to do it, man. And quite frankly, Fitz, we can't say that we deserve more, because once we get in, we're not doing anything. So what's the point?
I agree. Probably one team. It would help if BYU was that team. Maybe the second team would have a chance.
Correct.
BYU's been kind of in that second slot 2 years in a row, and the committee wants nothing to do with them. It's just frustrating. But yeah, this is what you get, what you earn. You get what you earn. If Tech had won and was playing this weekend,
yep,
the Big 12 would be pounding their chest. Instead, Tech fell flat. Tech played a horrendous game in comparison to what they've done this season. And I don't think it was all opponent. I think a lot of it was Tech.
Mm-hmm.
You got to, if you're going to suck on the big stage, it looks like you suck when the time is right.
Yeah.
When the time is at the biggest moment, you fade. That's a horrible look for a program or a conference. And last year we got a little hope with Arizona State. Now, no, there's no way the Big 12 gets two teams in, unless I'm missing something on the schedule. Unless someone is playing Ohio State, Alabama, whatever, and beats them and ends up 10-2. That might get you in. But I don't think that's happening. That's exactly why the Big 10 and SEC want to stop scheduling Big 12.
Yeah. Well, BYU plays Notre Dame. They got that on their schedule. So if they can somehow beat Notre Dame or whatever the case may be, then yeah. But other than that, unless you're playing somebody non-conference from the Big 10 in the upper echelon of the Big 10 and the SEC, you can't go schedule Mississippi State and beat them and then say, hey, we beat an SEC team. Nah, they're not falling for that. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. Just like when they schedule, the bottom tier of the Big 12 and they beat them, you shouldn't fall for that. So It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I think the game tonight's going to be very entertaining. But I do like Miami, and I'm with you. I am rooting for Miami because it throws a monkey wrench in everything that we have seen, and the solidification of the SEC being the dominant conference would 100% be over. But when I say the dominant conference, again, it doesn't mean that they're not the best, but dominant, absolutely not. But most people, well, I shouldn't say most people. A lot of people didn't believe that anyway. They understood where the SEC was dominant at the top of the food chain, the top 4 teams. Okay, we'll give you that. That's not the case anymore. And we can hate NIL and the transfer portal. And don't get me wrong, we've got all off season and summer to talk about that craziness. But if it hasn't done anything, it has leveled the playing field. Look who's in the Final Four: Indiana, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Miami. I mean, not a blue blood in sight. Not one in sight. And yet, I guarantee you people are going to watch. People are still going to watch, Fitz. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be great.
I agree. That Oregon-Indiana game is going to be really amazing. I mean, those 2 teams went at it before. Indiana got the better. We just saw how good Oregon, how well they can play. And, that's an intriguing game. I like having a Thursday and Friday semifinal. I like it. Let's just do this and then move into the championship on the 18th. But it's going to be a fun game. This coming up. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. I love this comment. My main man, Jim Matthews. The Sun Devils definitely deserve Hurley. You just don't know them well enough yet. There is nothing like a nasty, bitter rivalry. I love it. I love you. Look, I know some people out there. I love vitriol. And when it comes to rivalries, give it all to me. Give it all to me, man. I think it's hilarious. Moving on, man, to main topic we were going to talk about: professionals playing in the NCAA as far as basketball. Now, you don't see that in football, and that's my whole thing with this. It's only basketball that this is an issue. Like, how come there's no guy that went to go play pro or he left early,
right?
Doesn't get drafted, or maybe he gets drafted in the 6th or 7th round, doesn't make a team, or is on a practice squad, whatever the case may be. How come nobody's screaming for that guy to come back and play college football? That's number one. Like, why is it basketball that is, well, he didn't play in the NBA, he only played in the G League, so he can come back and play? Like, where is that guy? Because I believe it's coming, Fitz. I do. Because most of the time you see that, well, the guy graduated. I'm like, there's going to be the time where the guy that left early, didn't get drafted, or never made an NFL roster is going to want to come back and play college football. It's coming. And I think all of this is absolutely nuts.
It's crazy.
It's just absolutely nuts that professionals are being allowed to play college basketball. Fitz, what the hell is going on?
Well, because college basketball is now professional.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. It's almost like the rule is if you played in something comparable, like the G League or a Euro club, you're okay. It's comparable. NBA, no, we can't do that. But here's the problem. And I need people to understand this. You have to look at everything with this perspective. What will the courts do? How will the courts react to this? I've seen some great plans. Who was it that just laid out a plan? Coach Calipari laid out a plan.
Yep.
Coach, that's great. That's awesome. The courts won't allow it. Quit giving out opinions on how to fix sports if you don't understand the underlying issues. This is about the courts ruling in favor of the student athletes who have no proper representation. They have no negotiating power. So the courts are protecting them, and it's caused all this. So until the NCAA and college sports decides to do the things it has to do to calm this down, it's just going to keep getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
So while this isn't necessarily the NCAA's fault, what's going on now with the chaos is their fault, because they haven't said, okay, we need to really push Congress for some antitrust protections, and we need to help the players organize a union. We have to have someone to negotiate with so we can come to some set rules that courts won't just throw out.
Right.
And I see all these great solutions that won't work. And people go, oh yeah, let's do that. Well, the courts will just rule against that. And that's kind of why the NCAA throw its hands up, but that's exactly who shouldn't be. They should be finding the avenue of solving this. And it seems like the NCAA is like, no, you guys want to burn it down. We'll just let you. We'll just let you destroy everything. No worries.
Way back when, a friend of mine, and I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, but apparently it's not going away anytime soon, is he told me that is exactly what he thought the NCAA wanted. That the NCAA is like, look, you want to push this issue, you don't have parameters in place, we're not going to have any rules, just do whatever it is that you want, and let's just see what happens. And this is what happened. And the NCAA is tired of, one, going to court and losing money and losing cases. Is that they're tired of it. They're just like, we're right, or we at least want to put some rules in, but until there's something in law that mandates it, why continue to waste money? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And just think of it as a consumer. If me, Brian Hanley, knew that if I went to court, I had to waste money and I was going to eventually lose, why would I ever go to court? I wouldn't. There'd be no reason to. The NCAA is at that point. They're like, we've done all this. We know how this is going to turn out. We're not wasting any money going to court. You all want to do this? Go right ahead and see how it works out. Because really all that would have to happen, presidents and athletic directors, just get together and figure it out. Get together and make some sound rules. We'll put them in place. We'll go from there. But since you won't do that because you want to be greedy, well, now there are no rules. And this is what you get. So while the NCAA is absolutely full of you-know-what, Fitz, and they are, I also understand what they're doing with this, because why do I have to keep wasting money? Why do I have to you got to come up with the rules. You wanted this. Great. Now that it's there, put something in place that we can all agree on and we'll move forward. But until you do, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to waste my time, money, energy on anything until you guys fix it. And this pro basketball player stuff, it's absolutely insane. But I'll leave you with this, Fitz, or not leave you, but ask you this. Is it fair that they allow professional European basketball players to come over and play college and not American basketball players?
Well, I think they are with the G League. I think if you haven't played an NBA game, they're saying okay. Because at the end of the day, the NCAA is permitting anything that their legal advisors are saying, we'll lose that in court. We'll lose it in court based on what they're doing.
Right.
And they don't want that because they have to send an attorney. They have to send people to the court to argue their case and then lose. And the constant outflow of money to attorneys is just what the NCAA is just exhausted with.
Yeah, correct.
So, yeah, I mean, they're just trying to do enough to keep the sport going without losing court cases. But we are headed towards former NBA players coming back to college. And I would guess that the courts are going to rule if you have 4 or 5 years of eligibility and you haven't used it, you're eligible.
Right. Well, here's a question. We're talking about they're allowing G League players to do it now. Are they just saying, well, it's the top of the food chain that we're not going to allow you to play? Like if you are at the absolute top of the food chain, then you know what? Yeah, fine. We're not going to let those guys play. But G League, international, whatever, if you played in that, well, then, yeah, you can come back and play. What's the difference? It's professional is professional.
I agree.
And so I don't get it. That's my part. But I do want to bring this. This is a good comment. And I think you may have touched on this earlier. Is this a controversy because the Big 12 started it and not the SEC? Maybe. Because if the SEC had brought this up and they had done it, it may be a little bit of a controversy, but there's a certain network out there that would be pushing that this is okay. And so you might be right. That is a great point, Spencer. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously we can't know, but I think this is a good point, and it could very well be true, Fitz, that because it's the SEC or the Big 12 that did it and not the SEC, now it's all of a sudden it's a controversy.
I think he's spot on, actually. I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah, I see it. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is if we can get to the point where I can see Michael Beasley play college basketball again, I'm in on that. The downside of that is I doubt it'll be him coming back to Kansas State because Kansas doesn't have legal weed. And, you know, there's some priorities in life that you got to honor. But yeah, I think the Big 12 has pushed the envelope as far as they want to. Scott Drew did that. Excuse me. And now that it's not working, that's probably good. But
it's working at BYU though.
Yeah. Boy, people are pissed at Scott Drew for opening.
They are furious at him. Furious. And
Scott
it's the
Drew,
coaches.
For years, was the most hated coach in the Big 12. And Frank Martin came in, befriended him, and Scott Drew's been a popular guy now lately. And plus, he's fed half the coaches in the conference have ties to Scott Drew.
Absolutely.
So much for that. Everyone's pissed at Scott Drew for doing what he did, and they're offering with the professional player on the roster now.
And I think that's part of the issue is coaches look at it as it was desperation because you knew your team wasn't very good.
And they're not.
And then now you went this route to try to make your team better when ultimately it's making the sport not as good.
Right.
And that's where the coaches are mad. And that's where I'm staying with it. Look, it's all about, to me, it's about the sport. What are we doing to advance the sport of college basketball or to make it better? Adding professionals isn't the answer. And I know people are going to say, well, come on, B, they're getting paid, so they are professionals. I get that aspect of it, but they didn't declare to go pro. Like, it's almost like consequences don't matter anymore, Fitz, because it used to be, and again, I know I'm the old fuddy-duddy, but it used to be if you declared for the NBA or you declared for the NFL, that was it. You don't get to come back. Like, you might be able to change your mind before the deadline cut off, but if the deadline passed, you were gone, and there was no coming back. Well, now it's, well, maybe, I don't know, and all this maybe so, and I'm like, what happened to consequences? I thought that's what going to college was about, is learning consequences and learning about life and understanding that, number one, life is not fair, and two, every action has a reaction, and it has a consequence, whether it's good or bad. I thought that's what college was all about. And if you make a bad decision, yes, it can change the trajectory of your life. So make the best one. That's part of it. But now it doesn't seem that that's the case anymore, Fitz.
No, you're exactly right. And I get why coaches are doing things like Scott Drew. You look around college basketball now, and I noticed it with Arizona. These teams are like really good, like better than we've seen in college basketball, because now they're getting some adults basically that have been paid to play, whether it's in the G League or over in Europe, coming to college basketball, and it's improving the product, but not for everyone. And I think that's why Scott Drew's like, I'll take the next step. I got to compete. At the end of the day, that's what all college coaches are there for, to compete, to win games. And if you see a reason why you're at a disadvantage, you need to try to solve it. And that's, in his defense, that's what he's trying to do.
No, he is. He absolutely is. Just a good, finely tuned, why follow the rules at all? No one will be punished because of the lawsuits. The only issue that I have with that, there are no rules. So there's no rules to even follow. So I get what you're saying, and you're 100% right. If there were rules to actually follow, but there aren't. So it's the wild, wild west. Nobody can do anything. It's just silly. And it's ruining. Again, I used to be the guy that pushed back on everybody. Oh, it's ruining college athletics. And I'm like, nah, it's not ruining it, because you still go, you still watch. But when you got professionals playing college basketball, come on, man. Like what are we trying to do here? Like, what is the point? What's the avenue? Like, what's the purpose other than trying to win some basketball games? And don't get me wrong, coach's number one job is to win basketball games. Regardless, building better men, character, all this kind of stuff. They're paid to win basketball games, and nobody should be naive to that fact. But now if you're having to get guys that literally were professionals and played professional basketball and to build your roster to do it, the whole thing has gone to hell in a handbasket, and I'm over it, Fitz. I'm completely over it. It just makes absolutely no sense. And I know some teams are benefiting. Some teams are going to shy away from it, but it's just stupid. Mm-hmm. Let's just call it what it is. It's just stupid. I get it. It's just stupid. Somebody's got to do something soon. Sooner than later, too, Fitz.
How long will the schools let this go on? I mean, they got to come to some solutions that the courts will work with. I mean, this is not sustainable. It's absolutely not. The rate of escalation is unbelievable. How much money goes up every year, every year. So this isn't sustainable unless you've got a billionaire who's like, "Yep, I'll give you $25 million a year. Go win games." I wish I had that problem. It'd be fantastic. But this is, yeah, I mean, pros in college, it's almost like an addiction.
Yeah.
Now you got to break it. We're eventually going to have to break this addiction. And I think it's going to lead to some year or two of bad basketball.
Right.
Because all of a sudden you're back to having to recruit and bring guys in through the portal and do things a little bit more like you used to, and not just go shopping in Europe. And that reset will be refreshing.
Correct. But
that's a reset the NCAA member institutions must initiate, and they just refuse to for whatever reason.
It is what it is, man. Wild stuff. But anyway, that's what we got for you guys today, man. Appreciate everybody being in here. We went live at 11 today. I think we're going to push it to later in the evening on Thursdays, but we'll see. We'll see how it works going forward. So thank everybody for being in here and support. If you happen to be in here and you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, follow, like, comment, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.